Welcome everyone, Questini here with a discussion about Kislev in Total War Warhammer 3, which is quite broken. Now, out of the Order Tide races that people want to see reworked, Kislev would be number 1 from my perspective, but it's number 3 from the perspective of players that voted in my poll. But I think they really should be number 1 because they're so broken that they put the previous Imperial Authority cheese, where you could take territory in Null, give it to Averheim, get the event to get more and more and more Imperial Authority. What Kislev can do is beyond that, maybe a bit too much. So, over here, in this campaign, on turn 5, remember this, while I am at minus 60 devotion, which is certainly an issue, I have also taken Prague, Fort Ostrog, and the Southern Oblast. And I'm just about to get a lot more money and nullify one of the problems that I have, which is of course going to be Azag. So here's how you do it. You trade a settlement, so over here, Fort Chakova, and we start trading more and more and more settlements. So we give Vitevo over here. Like, Azag does hate me because I've done a bunch of things over here to piss him off. But we start trading various things, right? So we sell Vitevo, right, as an example. And we can look at how much he wants for Karakungor. He's willing to give us Karakungor. Oh, jeez, Azag. Jeez, you really are doing things, aren't you? And now, over here, we can then sell Karakungor back for Igorov in this particular situation. Or maybe we can't. Okay, but we can get an infinite amount of money. Now, this is going to take some doing because Azag does hate us. Why does he hate us? For the various gifts we've given to various actions. This is so incredibly broken that you have no idea what's about to happen. But regardless, we just keep doing this region trading, right? And we give him territory for more territory. And we get diplomatic relations over here with him. We start improving diplomatic relations. Now, here's an interesting little tidbit. When you trade territory like this, right? When you're doing these kind of territorial trades, it improves diplomatic relations. Not necessarily by a lot, but you can see he's already on minus 761 from where he was before. And now, we're in a situation where you can trade Vitevo for Zavastra and just back and forth. Maybe not for this particular settlement, although even for that, we can certainly do it. Or we can get maybe Fort Chakova. And this creates a loop of money that end diplomatic improvements. Because we can just take this element, take Fort Chakova, get Vitevo, just keep doing this again and again and again and again. And the way this works, the way this situation works is that the more territory the AI has in a particular province, the more that they will want that particular province. So it doesn't matter that Azag hates me over here, because he does absolutely hate me. What is important over here is more so the fact, like, he wants this particular province right now. He certainly does. And so we're just able to just continuously trade over here over and over again. And we can do this. Like, you might have to say, like, oh, let me give it to all that. Now, distance will determine a couple of things, but this is something available to every race. Now, let me just keep doing this for quite a bit until Azag actually likes me, and I'll show you what the problem is and why Kislev is completely broken in this respect compared to, say, him. Compared to, say, Azag doing this, compared to dwarves doing this, etc., etc. So we have gotten to a point where we're at 109 diplomatic relations. Took a bit of doing, certainly a cheese. And now we can sell this settlement to him for money. One of the cheese here that is available to everyone, not just Kislev, but it's like you can demand payment and can get up to like 2,000 gold early on. Later on in the game, it actually increases, but regardless. So now all of these settlements are controlled by Azak, but they have no garrison. Why don't they have a garrison? Well, that's because when you trade the settlement to a different race, the settlement starts with 0 garrison. And now we can declare war on Azak and just occupy it. Like, because there's no garrison, even the armies over here will not interfere. So now we can just get these settlements back. And because we have invoked Urson, and this is the real cheese here, because we have invoked Urson, we now are in a position to just get tons of supporters. I can do it with the Norscans, I can do it with Malachi, I can do it with the Skaven. It doesn't matter who I'm doing it. Like, I could be best friends with Frot. I could be best friends with freaking Daniel, and I can max out my supporters in maybe a turn, dependent on the territory that I do have. Okay, so now, while I can't get a piece right here, I actually can. Who the funk about that? So it will cost me money in this particular situation to get that peace agreement, because he ultimately does still hate me, so I would have had to actually spend a lot more time to do it if I didn't want to lose money. But there we go. Peace agreement with Azak. And if I had spent more time, I wouldn't have just been able to get the peace agreement. I would have actually been able to get a freaking military alliance. And while maxing out supporters. And then it's like same bloody freaking thing with Draika. So while she definitely hates me for all the stuff that I've given the Ostermark, I can certainly pull this off with her as well. So we just trade Forchakova for Naganahov. Igorov for Essen, maybes, or maybe Vitevo for Essen, yes. And just keep doing this again and again and again. And it's like, it's freaking nuts. I'm not joking, this is bloody crazy what we're able to pull off here. Just freaking damn insane. What we're able to pull up here, and it's like, and then I can just do this, and if I spend the time, right? So, like in this case, I really don't care to spend the time. Honestly, like it's like it would take a long time to make friends with Draika. But the important thing is you're achieving a couple of things at the same time. One, you're gaining a lot of money. Two, you're gaining a lot of freaking supporters. And 3, you're ensuring that all these factions are actually going to go freaking bankrupt, because you are taking all of their money, and you're also taking money that they don't have. The money that you take over there won't be in the negative for them, so if you're hoping for multiple turns of bankruptcy, that will not happen. But we can certainly pull this off, and like you do get to a point where it's like just undoable. So it might have been a smarter thing for me to play things up with Draika as opposed to Azak and just fight the war with Azak. But still, jeez, because she obviously does dislike Azak quite a bit. The stupidity of all of this. Jeez. This is really questionable. She might not be willing to sell Vitevo for anything else, though. Okay, so she's not willing. She hates me too much. This is freaking nuts. This is genuinely freaking nuts. I mean, we can always trade it for money, right? So we can always just get this, just get it back, all that stuff, right? But or we can just trade Igorov for some of the money back. You can lose money in this process. It's not really a problem. But now we can declare war on Draika. And same damn deal. Same freaking deal. There's 0 garrison. And now we can just get all of these back. We're at 120 supporters right here. Now, of course, Draika is a bad choice in this respect because she will cost you all of these barracks. So it's really the barracks that add value to this. So yeah, doing this with Draika is not recommended at all. But at least you can, you certainly can pull it off with respect to it. So yeah, the cheese is there. It breaks, like this is why Kislev needs a rework, more so than anything else. This is not fine. Like this, like the fact that this is genuinely the best way to maximize your supporters and get those victory conditions sorted out, get Kastaltin, etc. is freaking ridiculous. I'm sorry, like this is not okay. Like genuinely not okay. This is really stupid, really broken, and does need a fix. Now, other things beyond the supporter system that Kislev does need improvements on is like their economy is in the garbage. The way you gain devotion is not great. The invocations are not fine. The supporter system is a piece of trash, as I just demonstrated. And yeah, those are all problems. Like, here's something I would say about Kislev. You can make your economy work by looting and sacking settlements. The problem is, without, like, Kislev just doesn't feel rewarding to play in a long campaign because it takes so long to get any kind of money back from the economic structures and to pay for your army. So even in good campaigns, like, you know, I know a lot of people don't think about this, but, like, Boris Ursus is the best Legendary Lord of Kislev, by far. But even in Boris's campaign, with good climate, with a lot of money that you make, you end up actually spending all that money to make a paltry sum of cash back from the sake of for the sake of, like, you know, just getting those economic structures sorted out. And that's genuinely not a freaking great situation right there. In any way. Now, you gotta be a bit careful with this. Like, this is probably the more extreme version of it, because I managed to piss off everyone at the same time. So, don't do it quite to the same extent that I have. Because obviously these guys are not gonna be happy with, you know, rock skulls and Azag. For pretty damn obvious reasons. You might start with Azag, really. And then just work with the Empire and all that kind of stuff, all that kind of jazz, and then fight the early war with Draika. But these kind of, like this, like the Empire, I consider the Empire a really bad race because they could just, the best thing you could do in a Karl Franz Geld campaign would just be abusing Imperial authority. This is 10 times worse, genuinely, like 10 times worse, because you wouldn't get money from that, right? You get money, you get supporters. Hell, and you increase your diplomatic relations completely. Now, sure, this is possibly something that CA should consider in terms of fixing the game in general. Mind you, even if garrison spawned here, okay, it would delay me because I would have to maintain actual armies of a couple of units. But these are tier 1 settlements, you know. Tier 1 garrisons would not be a challenge to deal with, suffice to say. Yeah, we can talk about how diplomacy has ended up cheesy. And look, I'm fine with diplomacy being able to give you a cheese, but I'm not fine with the idea that the race is so utterly broken that using a cheese kind of feels like the best bloody way to play a campaign. That's the thing. Like, a cheese, you know, cheese will always exist. Like, some people really care about that. Cheese will always exist. It's up to you as a player to determine whether or not it's worth using it. Where I have an issue is when a race is so bad that you have to almost use that cheese in order to have any kind of decent campaign. And that certainly applies for Katrin and Kastaltin. Boris Ursus less so, though he still will benefit because you'll still be able to get those confederations going at the very least. But you won't go to the same freaking extreme lengths as, say, Katrin and Kastaltin would. And that is a sad state of affairs. Costin here, signing out. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and enable notifications, and stay tuned for more. Next up, Bretonia.